More on this, let's go to Greg Swenson, who is a partner at corporate finance firm called Brigg Macadam. Great to have you here with us on TRT World. So what do you make of this? So, everyone knows that Donald Trump is a big fan of imposing tariffs on different countries. But why do you think he is concerned about India? Because this is not the first time he has spoken about India and tariffs. In fact, he has been speaking about imposing tariffs on India for quite some time now.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and I think there's three reasons that the president is doing this. One is it's a negotiating tactic. You know, he's done this before with other countries. You just saw a great trade deal signed with the EU, and also with the UK as well as Japan. So this, might not end up being the final say in this negotiation. The second reason is, the president really sees this as a relationship with Russia that he wants to alter in many ways. And so I think it's important that he gets India to the table. And also, look, India is buying a significant amount of arms from Russia. I don't think that sits well with the president. I think they account for 38% of their arms imports are from Russia. So I think that, the president has a few challenges that he wants to address, and he wants free and fair trade. And I think he's been pretty clear about that, very transparent about it, that their tariffs on the U.S. he views as unfair. They're running a trade surplus with the U.S. and he needs to fix that. And he's done well with the other trading partners. So I think it would be best if India cooperated in this negotiating phase.
But Greg, don't you think there is a risk involved here that might bring New Delhi closer to Moscow, especially when it comes to economic ties?
Yeah, absolutely. There's that risk. And look, India has had a deep relationship with Russia going back all the way to the Cold War. And I think that's something that, past presidents have probably been uncomfortable with. But this is a president who actually wants to address some of these issues that have sort of skated by over the last generation or two. So, I think that's always a risk. You're seeing how the world is, perhaps there's a realignment, and I think the president wants to have India on our side, on the U.S. side, and you're seeing our allies are cooperating, NATO's getting stronger. So I think this is a moment where, India might have to reconsider their economic and military ties with Russia.
And Greg, before I let you go, how damaging do you think these tariffs are going to be for India?
Yeah, I think it's a big risk for India economically. They're quite like most countries that trade with the U.S. They're vulnerable. The country with the trade surplus is always much more vulnerable, and so I think you're seeing President Trump and the United States take advantage of their economic strength and the value of the American consumer to just try to make the trade more equal, more reciprocal. So there is a great risk for India's economy if these 25% tariffs go through.
Fascinating insights, Greg Swenson. Thanks very much for joining me here on TRT World. I really appreciate your taking out the time.